September 16th, 1951. Born in Fort Worth, raised in Burleson.
And what was your childhood like?
Very productive and active on the farm, small farm, growing vegetables, growing animals, pigs, birds, trying to keep the family fed. Hoeing the garden, weeding the garden. Very productive, enjoyable. Kept me more healthy than living in the city.
And where did you go to school?
Burleson school system from 1957 and graduated in 1971.
And what brought you into the military?
Well, my parents were not going to be able to provide college money for me. My lottery number come up to where I would be drafted, so I went ahead and decided to join the military for the benefits and the training, of which I wanted to be a military policeman. And that's how I started. I joined and got my duty stations, and I'm very proud that I did.
And where did you receive your training?
I got my basic training in Fort Polk, Louisiana. My military police school training was in Fort Gordon, Georgia, and follow-up training at Fort Hood for different aspects of police and law enforcement. We had small monthly classes to update us in our skills as traffic accident investigators, crime scene protectors, crimes, investigation of crimes, both federal murders and or theft or breaking and entering.
What made you choose law enforcement?
For some reason, all my life, that's what I wanted to do, even though my mom, she protested because of the dangers involved and stuff.
Now, what kind of duties did you perform?
Well, as a patrolman, we patrolled just like regular police officers do, but we fell under federal authority. I was stationed at Fort Hood, and there's about 350,000 GIs on that post at the time. And at that time, it covered 350 square miles. And it was like working a major city as far as law enforcement. And we had to work local with smaller towns down there during paydays and stuff because they didn't have the manpower. So we patrolled downtown with them, and, as well as on the street in automobiles, and worked for the sheriff's department, the county sheriffs, the state highway patrolman, and whatever.
Did you ever have any altercations, or?
Oh yes. Quite often we would catch young men stealing, breaking in cars, breaking into motor pools, and generally the way I was trained, you psychologically can stop a person if you use the right psychology on them. For instance, I stopped one young man and he got a little bit smart with me. In the military, you can get disorderly conduct. There's a civilian law, you can do the same thing. And I'd always give them a chance to hang themselves, whether it be speeding. And if they conducted themselves in the right way, a verbal warning would work as well as a ticket. And I was trained by an older civilian policeman. He'd been doing police work like 25 years. And he wanted me because we worked well together, and that's what his philosophy was. And I found it to be true.
What were some of your other assignments at Fort Hood?
We had to do policing of convoys, set up traffic control points where we directed the convoys to intersections and so forth. We were set up to go to El Paso, and I was one of the military policemen that we run ahead of the convoys and set up roadblocks or traffic control points for these little towns between Fort Hood and El Paso. And Lieutenant flew it in, and he was reconnaissance the situation, and he was stopping each little town in his helicopter. He had authorization, and he would talk to police chiefs. He said some of the police chiefs and their deputies, oh, well, if they're policemen, that's no problem, you can do this. So, and they enjoyed it. It was like they were watching a parade. But we moved to Fort Hood. There was hundreds and hundreds of vehicles. We had 4 convoys, and we stayed out there a month and for the desert training.
What did you think of those you served with?
Quite highly, because the 1st Cavalry Division had conflict in Korea, and they lost most of their battles and stuff. Well, they brought their name back up to par in Vietnam. For instance, before I went on duty, I stood 3 inspections, and if your police skills, your appearance skills and the performance of your duty as a professional police officer weren't up to par. You mop floors and so forth, worked in the motor pool. I took my training to heart and put me in the position to help people, and I really enjoyed it, and professionally it's helped me all the way up.